So here we are, it's January 30th. It's almost the end of the first month of 2011. First of all, a couple of reminders to be sure to get your orders in for what we normally would have called the shopping channel specials. That was our amazing weekend sale. Be sure that you have them entered no later than January 31st because we'll be closing off by that time. Also, when you are sending in your orders, they have to be prepaid. If they're not prepaid and authorized, and by that I mean your non-show orders, they will sit there and they won't be processed until you check it and you get the payment. So make sure that they're authorized if they're credit cards because you don't want them going into February sales. You want them to count for January. Okay, as we're sitting here at the end of the first month, I have a couple of observations that I wanted to share with you. And one of them is that when you start a new year and you have new goals and you're all excited, just like with all those New Year's resolutions people are making, it's natural to be hit with what I call obstacles or objections or tough times. You know, you might have made a commitment to work out and go for a walk every single day, and then your area was dumped on with snow and you can't even get out of your house. Or you might have made a decision to watch what you're eating and you find that you had a bunch of company decide that they were going to come over. There are little dips and turns in the road on the way to our goals, but you can still get there if you don't stop looking in that direction. I just recently watched a short video where the woman gave a very, very simple example of just walking towards the goal. So imagine if my goal was ahead of me out this way and I know it's there. I've got to keep my eye on that goal. But that doesn't mean that on the way to that goal, I might not be sidetracked over here for a minute. I might not have to step back for a minute. Then I go forward. Then I might be knocked down for a minute. Then I go forward. But here's the simple truth. If I keep working to go forward, I'm going to get there. And that's what you have to remember. Because too many times what people do is when they get pushed sideways, they think, see, that's it, I can't make it. Or when they get set back, they think, see, what's the point? I'll never get there. If you continue to work towards your goals, you will get there. And time will go by regardless, so why not keep working towards your goals? However, when you're pushed to the side, or when you're stopped in your tracks, or when you're pushed back, take a good simple look at why. Take a look at what happened. If it's something that's beyond your control, then release it and say, hey, that's life. That's the world I live in. The good news is I get to get up and keep on going. Don't stay there. But if it is within your control, in other words, if you realize it's because you let yourself down, maybe you didn't send the confirming letter you were supposed to send, or you didn't really prepare for those confirming phone calls, or perhaps you haven't really been keeping your hostesses super excited, or you didn't offer any extra bonuses, and you realize, oh, shoot, you know what? This canceled because I didn't do what I needed to do. Maybe it's something as simple as you just didn't overbook. So you were really hoping and counting on every show you booked to hold, even though that's not realistic. So in that moment, I don't want you to beat yourself up. I want you to recognize again that it's not Alouette that's not working. It's something that we're doing and we can fix it, and let that empower you. You know, something that happens to me on a pretty regular basis is when I get disappointed or when things get in my way or people frustrate me, instead of me laying down and dying, I kind of get mad. I get angry. I decide that I've got something to prove and I'm going to prove it no matter what. So I turn that around, and instead of letting it tire me out, I let it give me energy that it's going to help me to get towards my goal. So if you still have not set goals and it's already the end of the month, you need to do that, because part of the reason why you're going to be exhausted is because you don't know where you're going. You might be working and spinning your wheels and putting in effort, but you don't know where you're going. Indecision is more exhausting than working. Worrying about doing shows is more exhausting than actually doing them. You know, over the years, I've talked to countless beauty consultants, and one of the main things that's holding them back is they actually worry about, yeah, but what if I was booked that much? I don't think I want to be that busy. I don't want to be that tired. And, you know, here's a question I want you to think first of all. What's more worth it to you? Your goal or that time you think you're going to be missing? Now, I got to tell you, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be missing any time, because the fact of the matter is this business always allows for time off. You do have cancellations. You can overbook and decide you want to stay home and show share with somebody else on the staff, but you've got that security of overbooking all the time. When you only have just enough shows up, you don't have any security or flexibility. If you have an offer to go out somewhere and you'd really like to take it up, you really can't, because you feel like I have to do this show because I have nothing else going on. Or you do let the show cancel so you can go out, and then you feel like I'm never going to reach my goals. So ask yourself that. What's more important? Is it more important for me to be financially independent than it is for me to have one more night at home? Is it more important for me to be taking my children to Disney World than for me to have one more extra night a week home. Okay, I'm not talking about killing yourself and working way more than you should. I'm talking about how we blow this way up out of proportion, where we think that if we really went for our goals, we would be just so exhausted and we'd never be able to handle it. All you have to do is ask some of the people that do reach their goals, some of the people that are reaching the big heights in Alouette. Ask them if they ever have any nights off. I guarantee you, if you look at their record for 2010, you would be surprised to find out that they only averaged 2 shows a week that they actually held and did. Because when you put in there all the nights that they weren't working and all their holidays, that's basically what they did. We only have 2 or 3 people in our entire franchise that actually hold, on an average, 3 shows a week. So get rid of this mysterious monster over here of, but if I really did that, I would be exhausted. And also focus on what the result is, because nobody gets into this to be tired. You're getting into this to get that car, or to go on vacation with your family, or to have the debt paid off so you have that freedom, or to go, do the things you want to do. That's what you want to keep in front of you. I would also say to those of you that are not using the right words at your show, and you know you're not, you're sitting there and you're afraid to show plan properly and ask her for 25 to 30 people on her guest list. You're afraid to say, trust me, Diane, half the people who say they're coming are not going to show up. You're afraid to say to her when you make the confirming phone call, 8, that's great. That's a great start. But remember, only half of them are coming, so that's going to be 4. And I want you to get the gift for 8 guests in attendance. Or you're afraid to offer the booking properly by saying, listen, when's a good time for you to have your show? I would love for you to get this shopping spree. I've got open Tuesday or Thursday. All of those things you're afraid to do, I want you to ask yourself this question. What's more important to you? Is it more important to you to hang on to your fear and the possibility that you think somebody might not like you? Or is it more important for you to have the life of your dreams? That's the real question. Because in the moment when you give in to the fear, you don't think about it that way. But I guarantee you, if you started to say to yourself as you were thinking, oh, I'm not going to say it, say, what's more important to me? When I look back over my life, do I want to say to myself, no, I kept giving in. I could have had that. I could have had that vacation home. I could have retired early. I could have had that financial security. I could have vacationed with my children every 3 months. I could have gone away with my husband. All of the things that you might want to do, you could have done, except for one simple thing. In the moment, you decided to give in to that fear instead. You decided to give in to what total strangers might think about you compared to what your own family would think about you as the hero of the family, as somebody who makes things happen. I mean, do I really care about one lady who might, and I promise you they don't really, who might actually think she didn't like how I said something, versus the people I love and care about the most thinking that I'm dynamic and I'm a great example and I'm a leader and I'm making my dreams come true, and as a family, boy, we wouldn't have all this if it wasn't for you, Mom. I mean, think about them saying that versus you worrying about the few little words that somebody might be thinking at the show. Because the truth of the matter is, those women at the show just aren't thinking about you that much anyway. They've got their own problems, they've got their own issues to deal with. And what do you have to lose? Also, logically, do you really think the people that are hugely successful in Alouette could be that successful if they were saying things that were ticking people off? Do you think that they could be having hostesses who have shows every year if they didn't like them, or continue to recruit people? This business is simple. I'll never tell you it's easy, but it is simple. But I want you this week to challenge yourself that every time you hesitate to say or do the right thing, ask yourself, what's more worth it to me? Living the life of my dreams, and be specific about what that is, caring about what my family thinks about me, or caring about what these total strangers think that I think they might think and they probably don't think it anyway. Measure that for yourself. Okay, and one more thing I do want you to be thinking about as you're going along here. You always have to begin with the end in mind. What do you want to have happen? And stop working on it in circles. Don't assume you're doing the right thing, confirm it. Before you call 15 people to book, call and discuss with me or your manager what you're intending to say, what objections you're expecting, and what you're going to do then. It breaks my heart when people tell me I've been working on this for weeks, and then when I talk to them about what they've done a lot of the wrong things that have set themselves up for failure. Take advantage of the support that's here for you, and I guarantee you, you can start making those dreams come true.